Okay, in this video we're going to go through the functions of skin. So skin is first and foremost a protective barrier, and it also has functions including general protection, body temperature regulation, cutaneous sensation, metabolic functions. It acts as a blood reservoir, and it's involved with excretion of wastes. So in terms of protection, skin has to protect against microorganisms, abrasions, temperature extremes, as well as harmful chemicals. And in that regard, we actually have three separate barriers here that skin can participate in. We have chemical, physical, and biological barriers. As a chemical barrier, skin secretes lots of chemicals that can be antimicrobial, like in sweat, or sebum or oil has defensins, which can kill bacteria. Cells also secrete antimicrobial defensin. And the surface of skin is an acid mantle, which means that it has a lower pH, and this acidity actually prevents bacterial multiplication. And melanin, this chemical in epidermis, provides a barrier against UV radiation. Now, as a physical barrier, skin has flat, dead keratinized cells at the stratum corneum, and these actually block water and water-soluble substances, so that some chemicals have limited penetration of skin. Especially those that aren't necessarily water soluble, but the ones that can be absorbable or passable through skin include lipid soluble substances, plant oleoresins like poison ivy or organic solvents, salts of heavy metals, certain drugs, and certain drug agents, like you can pack certain drugs within vesicles. And these have limited penetration within skin. So yes, skin can absorb some, but it mostly acts as a pretty good barrier against absorption. Now, as a biological barrier, epidermis has dendritic cells, also called Langerhans cells, and these help to engulf foreign antigens and present them to white blood cells. The dermis contains macrophages, which can activate your immune system by presenting them to other immune cells. And DNA can absorb harmful UV radiation by converting it to heat. Now, what we find then is that body temperature regulation is also an interesting function of skin, because for one, we have insensible perspiration. This is actually just a type of sweat that your skin creates that is not perceivable. In fact, you create about half of a liter of this stuff each day, so even if you think like you're not sweating, you're still creating some insensible sweat. Now, if body temperature rises, we get dilation of vessels, which can increase sweat gland activity, and at their maximal amount, you can produce 12 liters of sweat, which is 3 gallons of sweat a day. And if you can sense it, this is sensible perspiration, and it can help to cool your body down. Now, if the external environment's colder, we find that your dermal blood vessels can constrict, reduce blood flow to skin to prevent heat loss, and skin temperature drops to slow the passive heat loss by diversion of blood flow away from skin. Skin also has cutaneous sensory receptors that are part of the nervous system. We have exteroreceptors that respond to stimuli outside the body, like temperature and touch, as well as free nerve endings that can actually sense painful stimuli, typically due to tissue injury within skin itself. So just looking at essentially the overview of skin, remember epidermis has biological, chemical, and physical barriers. The dermis also has biological and physical barriers. And within the dermis, we have nerve endings that are involved with cutaneous sensation. We got secretions of oil and sweat that help to defend against foreign invaders, because there's actually certain antimicrobial products that are incorporated in oil and sweat. The surface of skin, remember, it also is somewhat acidic, which prevents bacterial growth. And our blood vessels in skin also help with thermal regulation, because if you're cold, you can divert blood flow away from skin to prevent heat loss. And if you're warm, you can increase blood flow to skin in order to promote heat loss. Now, other metabolic functions of skin include synthesis of vitamin D, and vitamin D is actually a hormone that's necessary for calcium absorption in the intestine. We have chemicals from keratinocytes that disarm some of the carcinogens that your skin might encounter, and keratinocytes can actually activate some hormones as well, like converting cortisone to hydrocortisone. Skin makes collagenases, which aid in natural turnover of collagen, which helps to prevent wrinkles and keeps your skin sort of healthy and well-formed. As a blood reservoir, skin can hold up to 5% of your body's total blood volume, and the vessels of skin can be constricted to shunt blood flow away to other organs. Like if you're exercising, your muscles might need more blood flow, so you can divert that away from skin towards the muscles, which can improve, muscle function. And in terms of excretion, skin can actually get rid of certain wastes. Wastes like nitrogenous waste, ammonia, and urea and uric acid. These are able to be eliminated by your skin secretions, and these can actually accumulate on your skin surface, which are visible in renal failure, which we call uremic frost. Sweating can cause salt and water loss if it's excessive, which is why we need to, monitor our, degree of sweating and make sure that we have proper water and salt balance in our bodies.